Welcome to When Nerds Learn to Fly.
A couple of years ago, a neighbor gave us these antique chairs, knowing that we could refinish them and take care of them, and I've been putting it off. They're going to need a little bit of sanding and a little bit of touch-up, but biggest is reupholstering them because the seats, they had kids and there's spaghetti stains, and you know how that goes. So I'm going to have to deconstruct this and reupholster it. There's really not a lot of tools required for this reupholstery job. You've got scissors. Those are to cut your upholstery fabric. A screwdriver to help remove the tacks. Hammer, which helps putting in the staples if they don't go flush. Staple gun. 3/8-inch staples. I tried 1/2 inch and they were too long and wouldn't go all the way in. Knife. The knife will help you also with cutting the upholstery fabric. E6000 glue, which allows you to glue the border back on. I sanded it down with 100 grit, then 150 grit, then 220 grit to get a nice smooth surface. Alright, after sanding, I'm going to take some paint thinner, wipe it down real good. To refinish the chair, I use this red mahogany Minwax wood finish. Okay, so first I've got to deconstruct this seat. It has been tacked on, you can see here, and you have this outer lying material. I'm not sure if that's sewn, but I want to reuse the braiding. The braiding will be very important to reuse on this new material. And first I'm just going to older material so it pops through pretty easy. I want to be careful removing it because this will be my pattern for reconstructing a new seat pad. It's important to pay close attention to how it's constructed because when you go to construct it yourself, you're going to want to get it as close as possible. It's going to be a bit messy. I think a lot of this is the burlap underneath that has kind of started to fall apart. There also appears to be some sort of horsehair. We've got that removed, and like I say, there's still some tacks left in it. Be really careful because sometimes the tacks are coming out with the material and you don't want to get one of those stuck in your hands. So now you have the edging that can go all the way around, edging that can go around your chair. Now looking at the corners, it appears that the corners were only glued. So that's good to know. This is going to be a no-sew project. This is interesting. Like I say, it appears to be some sort of horsehair, straw. I don't know if that's to give more stability, but maybe this is just to stick with the traditional. Underneath that you have burlap. That's also starting to go, and it looks like there's more of the horsehair underneath, but that may be original. I may not want to mess too much with that. I am going to vacuum this down a little bit. Some of the tacks remained when I pulled off the material, so I want to go through and remove those. Once you have the top removed, flip the chair over and gently remove the material on the bottom of the chair. You're going to need this for a pattern also, so remove it very carefully. That's step one, and then we're going to kind of try to sand down slightly to get a better finish on this. For sanding, we have the 100, 150, and the 220. I start with 100 grit to get off all of the wax and all of the years of buildup. Alright, after sanding, I'm going to take some paint thinner, wipe it down real good. I recommend a couple of gloves, unless you want to be mahogany stained forever. Okay, this is where your Minwax red mahogany It penetrates stains and seals. This stuff isn't my favorite. It has a tendency, if you can't get all the excess off, to remain sticky. It's hard to get all the excess off, but you can wipe it down with a rag that's dampened with paint thinner, and that'll help with the sticky. I'm really excited because yesterday I found this upholstery material. It's very heavy duty. It's going to hold up real well. It was made for a resort for some of their villas. It is called Congo Dream, and I got about 59.2 yards of it for $25. This pattern's fairly random, so I'm not going to be too concerned about exactly where the seat pattern is. I don't think the human eye will pick up exactly, but what I am going to do is use the old seat cover and try to get it spread out really well. Leave a little extra. At $25, 52 yards, I really don't have to be that concerned with trying to get everything to fit perfectly, so we're pretty good on that. And you know, this doesn't have to be exact, because once you go to put it on the chair, you'll staple it and then you'll trim off any excess before putting on your border. Luckily enough, this wonderful border is really going to look nice on the new material. Check that out. I've got 2 seats, so I'll go ahead and cut both pieces right now. I'm hoping I don't have too much problem with this because it's very stiff, but I'm hoping that it will stretch okay onto our upholstery. So we have those 2 cut, ready to put onto the chair. Once you have your material cut, lay it onto the chair and try to make sure that it's even through all sides. Stretch it out a little bit, make sure you've got enough material, and then start to staple. Start stapling in the center of each side of the chair, and then you will work outward from there. Keep rotating the chair so that you're pulling equally on all sides. This allows you to stretch the chair evenly and get your material to look a lot smoother. If you find that some of your staples are not going all the way in, use your hammer to tap them in so that you have them flush with the chair. And in the back, you need to fold it in and get it up close to the legs of the chair. You'll continue this until you get to the corners, and at the corners you'll fold the material over into a nice tight fold. Now you're going to want to cut the material for the bottom of the chair using the old material as a template. Cut that to the same size and then apply this the same way that you did the upholstery on top, stapling at the center on each side, continually rotating around the chair and pulling outward toward the legs as you go. This will allow this material also to be taut, even, and it gives a little extra support to the springs. Now you're ready to start cutting your upholstery from the chair. You can use the utility knife and a pair of scissors. Sometimes a utility knife gives you a nice straight edge. There's a little bit of a lip in the wood so you know exactly where to cut. But sometimes it won't cut all the way through, and the scissors help in cutting the rest of the way. As you go along, if you find that some of your staples are a little close to the cut, you can put additional staples in to secure the material. Remember that this cut edge will be covered by the braided material that you pulled off of the other chair. You'll be gluing that over the staples so the staples won't show, and the rough edge of the upholstery will not be showing either. So now you're going to want to clean up that braiding a little bit. It has some of the old material still stuck to it. So just clean that up, make sure your edges are nice and clean and no threads are showing. Once you have all the braiding cleaned up, then we're going to start to glue it to the chair. You'll just take a small bead of the glue and put that along the braiding and then press the braiding into place. Or if you find it easier to apply the glue to the chair, and then press the braiding into place. Now you might have a little excess. If you do, just clean that up with a rag. Press it down with a rubber glove, and it's good to go. You have a beautiful antique chair to sit in. There is your before and after. Let's get a closer look of those. Before, you had these stained cushions and seats. See the water stains on them. After, you have this real cool Congo pattern, which kind of goes well with our East Indian Trading Company dining room. It had quite a few scuff marks on the legs, and some of the finish was kind of faded. This is the new chair, with now the legs are nice and finished. The finish on the chair is a little bit redder, a little bit shinier, and that's the finished product. It's not huge differences like you sometimes see when people paint the chairs. You know, you get that bold change in them, but this was just to update the chairs and make them more usable, since I was having to keep an Afghan to hide the stains all the time. So there you have it. Like brand new.
Always an adventure.
Yeah, that's us. If you found inspiration in this video, please press that subscribe button below.